proposed 2026 special assessment districts for street projects. So we have South, Willow, and Lake on the docket, and then a decision about Oak and Reading that I think we would all like to be an and rather than an or. Okay, who is presenting on this? Jason, would you like to discuss? Thank you.
All right, a few weeks ago, we presented our city manager, Mackey.
Jason, thank you.
A few weeks ago, City Manager Mackey presented a list of proposed street projects for the next coming years. What we have proposed is a special assessment 26-12 for East-South Street, or South Street project limits would go from N99 to South, or to Norwood Ave. The second proposal is SAD 2026-13, which will encompass Willow Street from Oak to Logan, and then Lake Street from East Carlton to Willow. About 500 foot of that was already completed last year as part of the BPU CBDG project. So we thought it was nice to kind of finish that project up. The curbs are in good shape. Some stormwater issues down towards Oak Street on that as well. So with those two projects, next year I just want to throw in there is we still have special assessment for Arch Street that was approved earlier last year. That'll be the 26th project as well. In addition to the two projects that we just talked about, the small urban grant 27 through 29, the grant cycle is coming up in the next actually 3-4 weeks. That's why we need to present and pick a project, either Oak or Reading Ave was our suggestions. If we go reach smaller urban for both, the next one would be 2030, 2031 for the next cycle for smaller urban. With that being said, I ask for council to approve the city engineer, or myself to direct the city engineer on staff to present estimates and drawings to bring back to council in January, and then approve either Oak or Reading Ave for the small urban grant for 27-28 construction season.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So the total amount constructed in 2026 will be about a mile then, with Arch being about a third of a mile?
Correct.
Great, okay, thank you. Did I see a hand? Oh, okay, yes. So it is those three projects. Okay. Any comments? Yes, Councilman Flynn.
Jason, could you quickly, the South Street project, is that a total redo, curb, gutter, sewer, the whole shebang?
So it'll probably be more like Linwood was a few years back. I have a feeling that there's a lot of curbs still left underneath that multiple layers of asphalt. It's been overlaid twice over the last 30 years. My thought is we'll peel that asphalt up and hopefully find a lot of good curbs still underneath there. It worked good on Linwood. Linwood, I think we only put in only less than 75 foot of curb on the whole project. If that's the case, that'll save roughly $300,000 right off the top. But again, until we get in it, we just don't know where we're at.
Thank you. Yes, Councilman Soha.
Thank you, Mayor. To add to that, is any BPU work on South Street or?
No, that's actually in pretty good shape, but we're hoping that we can actually make it more affordable from a road side of things. And we do know, I guess, some background on why we selected those south and Willow Street and Lake. South, we know, gets a lot of traffic from from Carlton all the way to Reading Ave area and Norwood. It's something we've heard about, at least I have heard about since we started working on the roads, being a major thoroughfare. Yes.
Yeah, to the high school and
Correct.
elementary or high school and
Correct. So yes. So that's why we thought this would have some good impact for one of our main thoroughfares. Willow and Lake, as Jason said, we only have small portions left. We thought this would be a good one to finish those areas up, those two ends up. And one of the gentlemen who owns many properties on those streets Streets has expressed interest in supporting this. And then the Oak and Reading Ave. We know Reading Ave is in really poor shape, but Oak as well. And we, to some degree, feel that Oak probably gets a little more local traffic, where Reading, even though it's a major street, a lot of it is like South Howell and Hillsdale. People are coming into town or leaving town that came to work from out of town. So we just felt that maybe, since we had to pick one or the other, we could pick one as the immediate and then look to the other one for the next one down the road. And that's because we received grant funding for that major street component. So Oak we felt was more local traffic, and Reading we felt was more traffic that left town.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
The small urban will help take, because out of the two projects, Oak Street will be far more than Reading Ave. The small urban will help get that down. Reading Ave can be probably crushing shape.
Yeah, it's really not that bad until you get sort of right at the edge of town and it becomes a minefield. What are the ratings on each of those?
So Arch Ave is a 2, Galloway is a 2, Willow Lake's a 1. I'm sorry, Willow's a 1, Lake's a 3, South is a 1, Reading Ave is a 2, Industrial is a 1, Oak Street is a 2, 1, 3, depending on the block.
Arch Avenue is a 2. Really?
So when it gets to
No, it
over
doesn't
20,
seem that bad.
yeah, so when it gets over 25% alligator, you have structural issues under the road. So that puts it in the full reconstruct category.
Okay, so
And that's because, you know, the heavy trucks from all these years. And that's the big thing up there is those were picked too because of the eligibility for grants.
right.
The economic grants, they had to have so much commercial traffic to be there. We've tried on Walcott, we tried on Manning, East Carlton, none of them met those economic drivers for that grant. So that's why we picked up there, which they do, as of right now, they do meet those qualifications. But yeah, the excessive load and, you know, the shifting of the cargo and trailers, at least that's what I'm getting in my office, why this was appealing to do that. Remember a couple years ago when we did Grand Street, that was the big driver, and that was the cargo was being damaged by ingress and egress through that roadway.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Just want to point out on the Arch Street project, we've finally broken some ice with the federal government, and that process is moving forward. So we're struggling getting through the digital component of the website and actually getting assistance. And finally we got to the point where someone's helping us and we're making progress. So we're pleased to see that, and that's been in the last week. So.
Great, thank you. Councilman Bruns?
As far as our council vote this evening, and I think I heard you say, Jason, we have 3 weeks to figure this out, specifically Oak and Reading.
Yeah, open reading, I would need an answer, or we need it, I apologize, by roughly October 11th.
Okay. I would be a lot more comfortable if that went to public services first, to be talked about it, so that I can make an informed decision about that tonight.
Okay. Yeah, I also wonder if we sort of canvass those streets and just see where are we going to get the most support from the public, because there doesn't really seem to be an objective answer in terms of road quality.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to me that Oak Street is worse, but if they have the same rating, then I guess it is what it is. Oak seems more unpleasant to drive down. But yeah, maybe a committee meeting to look at those, the cost, how much we're getting from special assessments. I do like the idea of sort of mailing something out. I know it's not official until we actually certify the roles, but just gauging public support so that we know if we're going to move forward with this, we're not going to hit a roadblock with the public. Yes.
So, just to be clear for council, so the process is the way it's by ordinance is these either are brought forward by petition by the residents or the staff brings it forward.
Right.
Council then approves staff to move forward and do the plan, specs, cost. So right now, we don't have costs. So if we go door to door, we don't really have much to tell them because we don't know what the actual cost of the project is until we design it and actually put, numbers on it per se. So unfortunately, it's kind of like we're putting the cart before the horse.
Yeah,
To some degree, but it's kind of a catch-22.
right.
You want to know if people support it, yet you can't give them answers until you can do that work.
I understand that, and I mean, it's probably hard to say, is it gonna be less than $5,000? If we went around and said, here's $5,000 over the 15-year period, here's your monthly payment, here's your yearly payment, would you be provisionally in support of this? I understand that, but it does seem appropriate to me just to give like, worst case scenario, here's how much you could pay in addition per month to get this done. Would you support something like that? I could also see the counter argument to that. It could be less than 5,000, so you could be driving people away when they might support it at a lower number. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. Councilman Flynn.
People I've talked to over the years, is that if you're gonna choose one, please choose Reading Avenue. I honestly don't think Oak Street's too terribly bad. And I think, a welcome to Hillsdale, if it was a little smoother, and I understand people are in and out, but I just think it shows our city a little in a better light if you have a decent entrance into town, because right now that's the only bad entrance. I mean, Hillsdale Street's good up by the college, State Street's fine, Bacon Street's fine, Carlton's fine, the other entrances, this one sucks. In and out, and I just think that if you were to choose one of the two, if it's gonna go to public services, I would hope that you would think that an entrance into our town, to make people say, hey, it's not too bad getting in at least, that all of our entrances are at least decent. I think Reading Avenue would be the better choice of the two.
Yeah, no, I understand that argument. Also, State though, I think a lot of people come in from Milnes to State, and then they turn either right or left on Oak to go either downtown or to the college. So, but I understand that argument too. Anything else from council? Yes, Councilman Sohan.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Mr. Mackey, when you said that the other one would be tabled for, like, if we chose Reading, and then when would Oak come back?
So on the small urban grant, it's basically a 3-year cycle. So if we get this one in 26, 27, the next cycle that we get money for this type of road, one of these type of roads, so major, is in 3 years. So that's why Jason had indicated like 30, 31. So.
I mean, I agree with Councilman Flynn, but to Mayor Pro Tem's point, the people coming to visit the college that come down from Jackson and across State Street, but also, Hillsdale Academy keeps growing, and the academy parents drive up and down that street multiple times a day. And I know when I was doing it, I actually started going up Hillsdale and across Fayette because I just was tired of the bumps. So that's something to consider too. Although I think, just thinking out loud, and to Councilman Brown's point, it'd be nice to think about it for a minute, but I think the entrance to the city though, coming in, that is just terrible.
It is
I
terrible.
avoid that, like, I'll drive up to Howard. It's a nice room.
Oh, if I could, unless we want to stay on this point, Councilman Bentley.
No, right.
I was going to shift to the Willow and Lake. Remind me how the process works. Is it one signature per property owner or per parcel?
Dave, can you take that one?
I'm gonna give that to Kim. You recall?
I believe it was per owner.
That's what I thought too. Okay. That's a very odd situation over there. I just did the count on GIS for all these parcels, and that one really stands out. I believe the majority are owned by one owner. My question was the adjacency part of our policy. Multiple of those about half of them are connected to another parcel. So, can you remind me how the policy plays out? We had a discussion that if there's an adjacent parcel, it's one payment if the frontage is contiguous. But that seems, no?
No.
Okay.
No, that was only if they had a vacant parcel that was adjacent
Vacant,
and they
okay.
combined it under one parcel for taxes.
Okay, that's right, so we won't run into that
No.
massive problem there. Okay, that was my clarification on Willow and Lake. Yeah, any other comments, Councilman Bentley?
Yeah, so, forgive me, I stepped away, so I missed most of the discussion, so I won't waste your time, but it's going to committee, well, I guess, why didn't it start at committee? Like, why are we talking about it today? Oh,
So
I had said I
this-
wanted
the way that ordinance is written, the city staff can bring projects forward. So that's what we're doing here, is starting the process. If council wants it to go to committee, council could decide that here tonight to do that. Otherwise, you could decide to start, to instruct us to do the cost and design work for this, or we could have the discussion, about trying to talk to the residents in these areas up front with just the maximum numbers. So that is really council to decide.
Thank you. Councilman Song.
Mr. Mackey, are either of the Oak or Reading, is there any BP infrastructure work that needs to be done on either of those projects that you're aware of?
Major components I do not, but there could be potential lead service line replacements, and so we would try to do that in advance of the project. No major water or sewer meetings in those areas.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Stuchel.
I just need to understand what the committee's going to do. We don't have prices, we can't put prices together, we can't design it. So I'm not sure what going to committee is going to do to this. Are they going to bring it back and say A, B, and C? That's just in the committee, then we'll go down again right back where we started. So what's the objective of going to committee? What are they going to come out with?
What do we have to go off of? The quality of the roads and the attitudes of the residents at this point. And do you have ballpark numbers?
I would hate to give you a number without
Right.
knowing. I mean, we have so many variables. New city engineer coming on board versus third-party engineering services. There's just too many unknowns to that. I'd like to add on the small urban. We do have a deadline. I have to present on October 15th to City of Jonesville's Hillsdale County Road Commission, and to pick and vote on. So it's voted on by peers too. That's in our region too. So even though we pick one, it might be voted down as well. So.
Wait, sorry, what is this?
So, small urban grant is presented to the Hillsdale County Road Commission because we share funding
Road Commission, okay.
with its Hillsdale County Road Commission and the City of Jonesville. So this year, 27 would be our year to pick. It's voted on during that meeting on the 15th, I believe I said. 14th.
Okay, is 9 days enough for you to prepare if a decision is made on October 6th? Okay. Yeah, it's very tough. My gut instinct was Oak just because I thought it was worse to drive on. But I'm not exactly sure. It really does seem to me that citizen input and the attitudes is kind of our best gauge at this point, since the road surfaces are similar quality. Does anyone else on council have a different suggestion?
If I may add one more thing.
Yes, please.
This is my opinion. Oak Street is more pedestrian oriented, college area too. The cross streets, all the residential, and not saying Reading Ave don't have a lot of streets, but this has a lot more ADA upgrades needed as well. So it would probably be a better candidate for the smaller urban to get that extra funding in. Oh, thank you, sir.
It's a better application. application?
They're an applicant to spend small urban dollars on, because the cost of that project is gonna be substantial.
Is it possible that we don't get one of these?
No, we should.
We should get one.
Has historically about used to be every 2 years before City of Jonesville became City Incorporated.
Okay.
When they came in, it went to every 3 years.
Okay. Well, that seems to be one piece of data to make a decision based on. Yeah, I don't know. What does council want to do? This is your ward and Councilman Wolfram's, and then Stuchel's and Brunn's. Would you like to talk to your neighbors and get a gauge of things, Councilman Flynn?
I would, but I don't know what to tell them.
Right.
So I would like to make a motion that we move ahead and have city staff put together some numbers for us, take the first step in doing these projects. And then once we have those numbers, then we can discuss maybe going to committee or going to neighbors and things of that nature. But the first thing out of their mouth is gonna be, well, what's it gonna cost? And we can't tell them. So I would like to make a motion that we direct the city engineer pursuant to City Ordinance Article 5, Division 3, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, to prepare plan specifications and cost estimates for the above listed projects.
Okay, so this would be, okay, so we have a motion from Councilman Flynn and a second on item 1.
Yeah,
So
can I
just-
interject here?
Yes.
My suggestion about the committee was related to the last two.
Right.
Because the recommended action from staff here, at least, what's presented to us, is to select one of them to be evaluated, i.e. we have to make the choice tonight, but maybe that's not true, maybe.
You could make it at the first October meeting, and Jason would have enough time. So that's something you could wait on the second component of that and drive it, talk to the neighbors up there, and then come back and we can have this discussion again and decide which one of the two would go first. We wouldn't want to do the full plans and specs on both of them, Councilman Flynn. So it'd be better to at least pick one to move forward with because of the cost.
Well, then I would amend my,
That's what I was, to clarify, were you making a motion for the first
for the
two?
South Street Willow and Lake.
Okay,
Yes,
perfect.
Yes.
Um,
No, I was taking one step at a time.
okay, yes, I like divided motions, so we have clarity, that's good. My only question on this was, Willow Street and Lake are kind of, not through streets, so again, we're gonna get the question, why not Manning? Why not parts of West? Why this area that's basically, it's not a cul-de-sac, but essentially there's no through traffic. Councilman Bentley, before they respond.
I mean, I don't know, the implication or the elephant in the room is, this Willow property owner is gonna pay the max SADs and more or less request this? Is this kind of the case? Which is fine with me, I mean.
Yeah, it came from two avenues with the multiple work with BPU over 2 years there. They did almost probably a quarter of the street already. And then with the property owners over there came to the city as well, interested in to see what it was take to move forward with the rest of the 500 feet.
Can we say off the top of your head that those are gonna be maxed out? Like, probably?
I would think not.
Oh, really?
I would hate to put my foot in my mouth, but again, without the engineer here. But I know with the engineer removed, we will probably save 20% in cost with the city engineer on staff. So it's possible.
So, one of the reasons that I would like this to have gone to committee and still would, well, first of all, everything starts in committee, that's what I've always been told. I have a lot of questions for Kim, and Kim's the subject matter expert, and I know we went through this, earlier, and it was very contentious. Well, no, we fixed our fixes very nicely, but then it fell apart at Berry Street. Can you just remind me quickly about the formulas and why it takes so much calculation? Is it just like the property owners are gonna be stuck with a percentage of the overall project? Is that basically kind of it?
So it starts with the project estimate. 50% of that up to 50% of the total project cost is borne by the property owners. The other 50% is borne by the city.
Okay.
Of that 50% that's borne by the property owners, we have per parcel maximums. The first one is it cannot be more than 25% of the total value of the property. The second one is, so on a vacant lot,
Oh,
you
okay.
know,
Oh, I see.
that's usually when that comes into play. Although some of those houses on Willow Street, it could come into play. The second part of it is, under our new policy, we allocate the cost based on the front feet of the parcel. So we have to go in and verify how many feet they own along the street, and then allocate out that value based on that number.
But again, you say up to 50% is gonna fall on the property owners.
Right.
When and how is, like what if it doesn't? Like, you know, ideally,
So,
this is kind of an ignorant question, I understand, but like, if we said the max property was $4,000 and we didn't do all these calculations, except when it benefited them, like, I don't know why it's gotta be part of the total project budget, that just seems artificial, and like that's where all the uncertainty comes from. And if we just said, we're doing this project, it's gonna cost whatever it's gonna cost us, but we do expect the property owners to benefit, therefore we're going to special assess them, and it's gonna more or less be predictable, it is $4,000 or whatever, for the price we determined it based on the different, that's why I would also suggest this conversation be in a committee. Instead of this arcane formula where we have to say, well, we can't tell you how much it's gonna be, you're going to the casino and we're getting in your pocket and you're going to the casino. And it just seems like an extra step where we could just say, yeah, it's just a rough estimate, but.
So we
Sorry.
can give them those maximum numbers. We know what those maximum numbers are going in. The problem is, I was being asked to give them lower numbers than what those maximums were in order to get people on board with the project. And I can't do that until I have final numbers.
And for Willow and Lake, there are some of those tiny parcels that might come in at 3,500, 4,000, whatever. And if we go and tell them, here's your monthly cost at 5,000, they might. I don't think it's gonna make that much of a difference overall, which is why I'm saying we can go in and present this information and tell them this is the worst case scenario. So I get your point, right? If it's maximum 5,000, we can bring that information to them. Yeah, any other questions? Okay, so Katie, did you get who made the motion and the second on this?
Lynn, I didn't get the
I
second.
believe it was Stuchel, yes. Okay, so are we all set to have a vote on South and Willow and Lake? Okay, could I have a roll call on that motion?
Yes, Councilperson Wolfram,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Palladino,
Yes.
Councilperson Bentley,
Yes.
Bruns,
Yes.
Flynn,
Yes.
Soha,
Yes.
Stuchel.
Yes.
7-0, that one's approved.
Okay, thank you very much. Now the question of oak and reading. It sounds like marginally you're saying your suggestion is oak. Are there any other opinions from city staff? I suppose I'm fine to do that now. If council is willing, I'm also fine to take a few weeks, go to committee, maybe you can make some ballpark numbers, even though we're putting you in an awkward situation. I will entertain a motion either way.
Motion to send it to committee.
Second.
Okay, motion and second to send the oak reading discussion to Public Services Committee. Any further discussion?
Again, what's the objective?
The objective is to continue the discussion, Councilman Bruns?
I mean, it seemed to me that we were learning all sorts of things from Mr. Mackey and Jason just now about it, and possibly if we continue to ask questions, more will be uncovered.
But you have a committee
The
that's got
benefits
people,
of each.
I mean, you want to rely on 3 people to come back with the right answer, or you want to continue discussion in full council?
Well, if they have a meeting dedicated to this particular issue, then perhaps more things will come to light recommending one
But
solution or
you're
the other.
taking full council's opinion and voices out of it.
That's what the committee process is.
Well, we still vote after the committee looks at it.
I'm not fully confident that we are gonna get new information, though when you get these 3 in a room together and just ask some questions for an hour, even, you usually find out something, so I'm always fine with that, we always have a good time. Councilman Bentley?
And any of us in the public can sit in on the committee if we're not on it, if I'm not mistaken. And if further, there doesn't seem to be any particular hurry.
No, there isn't. I mean, one thing we could do is just put out, and say, if you are on Oka reading and you have really strong opinions either way, or any opinion, come out. I guess I'm viewing more of this as just time to see if we can collect some information from the public. I'm leaning toward Oak, but if I hear 10 people from Oak Street say, I will organize a campaign to stop this thing, then I'm gonna vote for reading, you know what I mean? It's like, that's really my major.
So there is a time frame on this one though, as it needs to be presented at the smaller meeting on the 5th of October.
Yeah, the assumption is that we would vote on this.
On the 6th.
If people don't want it to go to committee, then that's fine, I'll take a vote on the other thing too, so.
Okay, very good. So we have a motion and a second to send this to committee.
Send the last part.
Yes.
The second part, just to committee for discussion. We don't even have to make a recommendation necessarily. We can just bring new knowledge and everyone can go out and talk to their neighbors. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. We will make a decision on October 6th. Thank you very much for all that information. It's a tough thing to make a decision about. Okay, and we are on to letter F very quickly here. We have a resolution of support. Hillsdale Renaissance wants to buy 16 Hillsdale Street right behind us, the old rail yard, Indiana Northeastern, thank you, is willing to sell and move to Jonesville. They need MDOT to agree with this and move the project forward so that they can start some renovations on the rail station there. Any questions or comments on this resolution? Yes, Councilman Soha?
I know that they've been working long and hard
Yep.
on this, and the fact that it's come forth and the railroad's willing to move is pretty miraculous.
Yeah, I believe Hillsdale Renaissance, if I understand this correctly, bought a parcel in Jonesville that they could sell to them to build their new rail station. So they are really trying to make this a package deal so that the railroad is willing to move. A lot of work done there. Okay, do I have a motion to approve? Oh yes, Councilman Flynn.
I just wanted to say real quick that members of the Indiana Northeastern Railroad that I've spoken with are in favor of this as well. They've kind of, again, success story. Their offices are based here. They've outgrown their office space in that old depot, and which some are sad because it's a beautiful building, but it's time to, expand. And so they are all in favor of moving to Jonesville as well. It's just the MDOT portion. So.
That's right, thank you, Councilman Flynn. Okay, do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
So, support?
Motion on the floor from Councilman Soha, seconded by Councilman Flynn. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Yes.
Just a quick point, being a resolution, can we do that with ayes and nays? Or?
Should we take a roll call? Okay.
Either way.
I wasn't sure, I just didn't want to.
Yeah, there's nothing really attached to it, it's just a letter of support, but we'll take a roll call vote. Thank you. Thank you, Councilman Flynn.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem Kennedy,
Yes.
Councilperson Bentley.
Yes.
Bruns,
Yes.
Flynn,
Yes.
Soha,
Yes.
Stuchel,
Yes.
and Wolfram.
Yes.
7-0 approved.
Thank you very much. And will we, how will this be handled? Will you send this to the address on the
I
resolution?
can get it to Hillsdale Renaissance.
And they will send it?
I would assume that
Okay, great, thank you very much. And that is it.